Hello everybody. Let's see how much this weighs. It's about a little over a pound. That's kind of a big pound, isn't it? I have not thrown anything since, I don't know, it's been a few months, and because I've been doing all those, all that glazing and doing a little traveling and just kind of left everything the way it was. And so I put water in my bucket and needed some clay. So let's see if I can remember how to throw something. What should this be? Oh, let's make a big mug. A muggaroo. Oh, that feels good. Just like riding a bicycle, right? You fall off, get back on it, even if it is after your broken leg heals. And you'll remember how to ride it. And hopefully you'll remember how not to fall off. All right, so a pound is about a good amount to start for a kind of a large mug or cup or whatever you want to call it. Let me see if I can get the foot of this just a little smaller before I start opening that clay up. So when I do this, I cone it up like this, whether it's just freshly out of the bag or whatever. It just distributes the moisture, and I'm kind of pushing a little bit to the side. It's almost like wedging it again once you get it on the wheel. And it really redistributing the moisture in the ball of clay to make sure that it's fairly as even all throughout the piece as possible. It makes your throwing so much easier. Now, all right, so I'm gonna go in here and I'm just gonna find the center and we're just gonna go down. Not gonna go all the way down because I need to see how thick the bottom is before I continue. So this could be a how to center and throw video, right? Here's my stylus. It's been sitting here since, well, I don't know how many months it's been. It's been a while. I feel like it's been a very long time. So it's about 1/2 inch right now. And so that's okay. I'm probably going to lose a little bit of that, which is desirable as I'm compressing the bottom. It'll compress a little bit more as we go along here. So let me dry my hands off or wipe them off a little bit. So if you're a beginner, this is what it ought to look like when you open it up. So we just found the center, we pushed our fingers down into it. You'll find whether you do a thumb or you know, which fingers you like to use when you're opening up your clay. And so, I nearly lost you in the tub there. Let's make that a little more steady. Okay, you don't need to see the bottom of the deal. Okay. It's allergy season around here. We have ragweed at this time of year. Now what I'm doing is just compressing it, and I'll take my sponge, whatever kind of sponge you use. This one seems to be handy. This is an elephant ear. Elephant ear. It's not really an elephant ear. I don't know why. I guess they call it that because of the way they cut it and everything. But it's kind of flat. And so I'm going down to the bottom and I'm pulling out slightly. And I'm going pretty fast. The speed of the wheel is pretty good. It's going at a pretty good clip. And I'm compressing the bottom. That keeps it from having cracks in it when it's bisque fired, or when it's glazed fired. Even if you don't see a crack in the bisque fired, you still could get one in the glazed fire. Okay, so I'm checking for center. Now I'm going to start pulling this up. So I'm getting one hand on the outside. You can even use your sponge if you want to. Put a sponge on the inside here. And I'm just using the tips of my fingers. I'm not pushing real hard. I'm just going to try to get that straight. So I got a little clay. Wipe that off. Get your hand wet again. And you want to fold that over into there. You don't want water to sit in the bottom of your clay. In Europe, the clay is different. It is much finer. The refining of it is so fine. And they are able to leave a lot of water in their pots as they're throwing them. But in the United States, the kind of clay we get, you can't do that. You need to wipe sponge the water out of the bottom of your pot. And you don't have to apply pressure. Just take something that's absorbent and blot it out. Just pick it up. You just don't want standing water. So to raise the wall, I'll do this without the sponge so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to, down here at the bottom, you can make a little groove or not. You're going to end up making one anyway, probably. So press your finger in at the very bottom there and make a groove. And that way you'll have a little shelf there that you can raise your wall. Now, I should have probably slowed my wheel down, and I probably wouldn't have had that clay pile up right there. So I'm going to slow it down just a bit, take the water out, keep it neat and clean. And it's weird because you take water away and you put it back on. But hopefully you are getting it where it needs to be at the right time. Now, mind you, I have not thrown in months. And this is feeling very much like a beginner. I'm feeling like a beginner, that is. This is feeling like the first pot I ever threw. I'm going to slow it down just a bit more. I want the bottom of this mug to be a little bit smaller. Using the tips of my fingers on the outside and my other fingers on the inside just to keep it from being distorted. It's kind of like a backer right there. It helps, I think, a beginner to keep the bat wiped off, because we tend to accumulate water on there and we don't want to accumulate too much water. So notice that I didn't throw the water directly in there. Let me do that again and see. I'm gonna take some water and I kind of throw it at my fingers and it runs down my fingers. And yeah, it ends up in the bottom of the pot, but you're gonna be wiping it out, so we're all right. So you can, I still don't have the wall as thin as I want it. I'm going to slow down just a bit. Now at this point, some people like to use a rib. You could use a rib that, when you're a little more advanced, I think you can use a template on here. Something that has more than just a straight shape on it. But for this video, and for me, since I'm kind of re-beginning, a new beginning, let me use this one, because this one is the kind that most people have. Especially if you're a beginner, you'll have a wooden rib that looks pretty much like that. Probably a little cleaner and prettier. So I'll take away some of that clay and I'll put this underneath it, and with my inside hand, I'm pressing a little harder than it was before. So you slide the clay off the rib and put it in your tray, because you'll probably recycle everything later. Okay, I'm going to lay that down and get water out of here, wipe it off here. I'm going to compress the rim just a little bit. And I want that to be kind of rounded. Now, slow it down just a little more. And I'm going to push it out. Now, I've got my left thumb against, well, I did have it against there, but one thing I have is my elbow is stuck right into my hip right there. Okay, let's look at the inside of it. I should have brought some Kleenex out here. Okay, so that's what the inside looks like. Notice I have not made corners on it. And I'll take this sponge and just barely put it in there and let it, the weight of the sponge, kind of pick up some of that moisture. And so that's what it looks like there. And this is what it looks like on the side. Okay. Let's put you back. Get you up a little higher so you can see this as it grows. If you keep the rim compressed, you will probably have a little easier time controlling it. And I would like to choke it in just a little bit. Oh, I think they say collar it in, but collar it in. So I'm just, with wet fingers, I'm just touching it in several places to pull that in just a bit. I want this to belly out, but I want this to have a nice lip on it. So I'm going to switch to this one because I can bend it. And you probably, if you're a beginner, you probably got a flexible metal rib with your kit. I didn't get it bent very far, did I? You can also take the round part. Let's see, let's put the sponge on the outside here. And you can take the rounded part and push from the inside to push that belly out just a little bit more. This will be the longest I've ever spent on a mug. But if you're beginning, you need to spend enough time. There's no reason to hurry. You see everybody on YouTube that you're watching, they go fast when they're making something because they have speeded up the video. Now, a lot of people that are very experienced can probably make these mugs very quickly. And so they probably make them in real time very fast. I'm going to slow that down just a bit. But if you're a beginner, there is no reason to go fast until you get real confident in what you're doing, and then you might want to try to go faster or see, you know, the kids in classes sometimes will have contests to see how many mugs they can make in 20 minutes or something like that. Okay. I could probably belly that out just a bit more. I'm probably pushing my luck here, but I do want, oh, I know what I can do. I'll collar this in just a bit more. And I'll leave that like that, and okay. I want it puffier at the bottom. Okay. A small difference, but it matters when you're drinking from a pottery mug. You want the lip to feel good. You don't want to feel like you're you want the lip to feel good. You want it, you don't want to have any rough places or bumps or lumps or anything like that on it. Let's see. Okay. Now, when it's fired, the tops of things like this tend to want to close up a little bit on their own, and so it's good to lay it out just slightly more than you want it to end up as. And then I have a rib that, well, actually you can take one of these ribs and do the same thing. You can sort of dress the bottom, I would say, and clean off your bat so you don't have it standing in the water. But you can do that, and then you can also put another little, rim around there like that, just to say, okay, I paid attention to the bottom. But on mine, I have a rib that looks like this. And I will put the sponge inside just to give me some balance. And this feels good. I can't see the bottom of it. Move all my junk here. And then take your sponge and smooth off any rough places. And doing that, I'm just cleaning goo off the bottom of the, out from under on the bat. Reinforce my little rim there. Your clay is going to shrink about, let's see, where is my little deal? The clay shrinks about 10 or 15%, somewhere in between there. 15, I've never seen anything shrink more than 15%, but it wouldn't surprise me if sometimes it does. It depends on how much moisture is in the clay and all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to use this to, boy, that clay is really soft up there at the top. Now I have the top of this out around, and I'm so mad at myself. I just should have quit while I was ahead. And beginners make that mistake too. Okay, I got the top of it all messed up. When that happens and you're a beginner, do something else with it. Don't let this go, because you're probably in a classroom where everybody's waiting for their turn at the wheel or something, or a wheel. So I'm kind of making a different sort of rim on this, and my intention is to make a lid for it. So I made a little straight thing that goes up, and I'm going to have a lid that's going to sit right down on top of it. And I have a goober right there. So I made a little ledge there for the lid, not necessarily to sit on, but for it to, I guess it could, to come to. So this top part will be on the inside, and this fairly substantial rim will be on the outside. Okay, so to measure for that lid, this is for the more advanced kids that are going to make some kind of lid. You're going to take calipers, that's what this is, and your instructor can show you. This is going to measure the outside of the pot all the way down. So that I need to tilt this out just slightly. There we go. Okay, and that's gonna go dry now and get very, 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 very dry, and we will fit the lid to it, and we may have to trim it once it gets leather hard, but it'll be remember that your hands work together. Okay. Well, it's not great for the first one in months, but it's not too bad. So now I need to go find some clay to make a lid. I would have had to find some clay to make a handle, but there's the profile on it. The profile is the outside shape from top to bottom and what it looks like. So we'll make a little thing. We might even make it a garlic holder by putting some holes in it. We'll see. We'll see. The wooden stick. Now we can get under here by using the point on it. And it's just giving a place for it to come off the wheel, and then if you use a sponge, it'll round it off and smooth it. I guess this is some of the stuff that you could do in trimming, but if it comes off the wheel in such a way that you don't have to do a lot of trimming, that's all the better, right? Because that's less handling and all that. Okay, let's take this off the wheel. Okay, so this is gonna fit on there. That's beautiful. Okay, let me see if I can show you this without smushing it up. Let me find my towel. Oh my goodness, it's time to do the laundry, isn't it? This towel is a mess. Okay, so let's straighten this up. Okay, so here's this. And I'm turning this one upside down, but so I'm just showing you how that's gonna fit on there just like that. And it'll be very simple. I might stick something on the top of the lid just for decoration, but that's the lid, and that's the failed coffee mug, but a successful little container that might turn into a little garlic thingy, to a garlic storage jar or something. All right, so that's probably it for this video. This was kind of a simple video, a beginner type thing. And more than anything, it was for me to get back into this and get the feel of the clay before I take 5 pounds or 6 pounds or something and try to make a big bowl or a big vase. So you always have to break in with something, and you always need coffee mugs, right? So if you do that, it's a win-win. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and take care. I love you. Bye-bye.